We're going back to our roots. It's such a good thing when you go back to the communities that you grew up in, the people that you grew up with. It's lovely when you acknowledge them. And today we are here at the Yonso community, somewhere close to Jamase, part of the Mampo municipality. We are here to celebrate a great man, a man who is well honored by this community and his family. We are celebrating his 25th anniversary. He goes by the name Daniel Yeboah Atakora, former headmaster of Jabing and Dompoase Secondary Schools. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Today, his family chose to celebrate in a very spectacular way by donating to the Yonso MA1 JHS an ultra-modern computer lab. And we know and hope that this is many of more to come from the family and people whom the community has nurtured and are now doing well somewhere else. We know they're also going to contribute their quota to the development of the Yonso community. My name is Ajwa Afranowa from Pong. So his school has benefited from the ultra-modern computer lab. Kind of scared to see the Atakora family. Haruna, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I feel it's good. And I noticed that it will help the children to also express themselves on ICT.
But let me ask you this, have you ever used a computer before? Apart from the Android and the iPhones, have you ever used a computer before?
No, yes.
You've used a computer?
Yes.
What did you use it for?
Maybe for typing and searches.
Where did you use one?
I used them at my school.
Oh, your previous school?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think what they have done, most of us, we don't have the ICT, the computers in our school. So what they have done, it will help them to also express themselves in the ICT.
But you already do the theory aspect of ICT.
Yes.
But you've never had a practical aspect.
No.
But I know you're writing BEC next week.
Yes, please.
And ICT is part of your courses to be written.
Yes.
Interesting. So I think you have, you're starting on Monday.
Yes, please.
So you don't even have any time to enjoy. But try and get a feel of it before you go.
Okay.
So I have with me here Nana Chidong. His community has been gifted and honored this morning by the Atakora family. Nana Mimawapaba.
Yes, so.
Your friend Ajwa.
The family Nana education the blessing.
Okay. Nana, your name say any chroma phone in an or Mufi or Mukrom no Mukoya or Mutimiba, Ebe share or Mukroma and Punto Bem. As I've been our catch at Akrabusim.
When I Nigia, a man and I on social do what he can. I just like I see a man or Mufize. Ubu how quite confidently emanated on Manaka. Atakora man so do Maka say, aha, no papa free. Jidomayano, to say, I need this uncle. Now, you see, Yakopo say, you must see the Yakopo and show my hand.
Nana, assembly and as a football bay now, but catch a coma for a chrono to see your Mukarabe, our most walk baby or Mako ye. And so, Krabi Crown on 29 Hada, assembly now, catch her.
That's it. When I have additional DB, Amayina, say, Atakora Manuko moon free had your mabe. Nay, Uncle Sasu free as in, says you tree every year be. Namuji said, then Atakora Mayadi or Mabe, I had this idea, my Yenina, Yons Mayina. What Batemu be and so carry on so, no Bayadi is my own so, said the Atakora, a jelly deal, Sab Pepe.
Say, and I can't say, but yeah, did my own so, said the Atakora, my job would be fair. Then I feel so none. I did if they are bro me, when you back as ultra modern computers are bro me. I put to Ben now, the mom.
My name is Ubis Wabu, I'm walking. Let's say, I won't share and one pandy boy, my uncle, and what to do. Share Miss Atakora may at the Afa, a quabi so I may addition, dear, say, yeah. Now, a crown now, as of Bomodin, now we know. Why, yeah, I told you, Jimoji, say, and Kranos no, or more Bomodin, no more so dear, say, said the Baya Atakora, and in dear no, and the cow. You, Nana, you know, I see baby. Penny, you're going to say, eh, bow for yaw, a wa, yon so in it, Chiam, Nana, no more paba.
Yeah,
and I will say, I no pay, as a probution as Shaman Munyam, even our catcher.
Oh, and then Maniaji, Yankoponi, Danasie, is the idea Yankopa mine, eh, Mamma, Yan Susunisa, is a papa in Namsa, Nam Tenenka.
Okay.
Papa or Sabe, Yansa. o fie nyansa no o school nso nyansa papa ya bo modern tete ne ma pampa so na ofiri mu entity o de tete ne ma no papa no nyansa no ana ne moja na da so wo ne manum se wo hwe ena ade o mo abeyi a na ahyase na ade a papa no ye no aduade a odua ye no ena so aba ama yonso man nyina
na afa so wo se kromani bi wo hono ma Atakora busia na boa wo edi ya boa wo ma mo ko aso ko mo nto mo nan si da asembe na wo ka kire wo
yo dia me ka kire wo mo ane se atia ne mu enka achi ne sa no nti wo mo hwa ne papa no entete a wotete wo mo sane oyi na kuma mu oboa wo mo na wo mo so anya ba bia duro no wo mo so mo na me hye na nimonyam enya ne ma no nko a na oboa wo mo enam se wo boa afoforo no na ne ma no de wo mo aye wo mo so e me hye papa na nimonyam na ehunu se enya ne ma no nko na oboa wo mo na emum oboa pontinsofo enso ka ho
ene na afi ayi school fo ya show mo nimonyam ya de computers ya bro mi so asembe na wo ka
school for na de Nyankopon enkora no na ese sania Nyankopon aka obi akoma no de ese wane na yire ne no madie no wagyae no de aba ba ye dwumadi ati sei no ese nkora no hunu se papa no wabo moden enti wo mo nso ba yire wo mo ho aye asua de no na wo mo nso anya nimdie no wo mo nso aba ba ye de che sei ya ma wo mo nso enjirima no ti de ndu gya wo mo se ade na de abra wo mo ma emfaso emra so
na afi de chat to kran wo mu se Atakora busuafo na yi o makoma mu aya de fefe se ya mamo na bo mu wade se de bia wo de beto mani ma na
ade se de to mo ani mu ane se sa technical secondary school no ene da na yonso hene ne mpanifo na yonso ma nyina akoma so enti de ase wo mo ane se ebra wo mo ebetutu wo mo nsa no wo mo emeboa na sa adwumadie no nso emremu
Nana, kada wasi.
Esimdamwase.
Openi ya mitini nchei openi ke dakwa. Openi mema wakwaba.
Yeah.
Ano openi huse Atakora busia na shemani monyam bebre. Na bebre nani akacho. Makakra be na unso de beka hu.
Kakra makra ka ho ani se. So obi ye ade se di jawa. Ya kan se e be fe ni yi. So an hwe ni yi a ankora ni nya ho mfaso. It is enipa aba no bebre wonu yenye. Enti pese mese nso hu nfonimfo se ade no wonu mo ho ba yi na ya mo ho ba yi resi ya no nkora no o ma ye juma ni mo nso se nkora no so o mhwe ni efia de ewie sitie ama teacher fo no no hia de ko ncha ka because never hia de anko chiri a mo hia no nya ho mfaso bia nti hia ho ko chiri a ene wo nya ho mfaso mo da chi wo si de nkore ya ye ne nei wo so abeye dia na yo so ma na ko no na etu ko na se kora ni ye ho hia ma na teacher fo nso de ho chade yi na plumbe college ni poku are no nko a na ye de aggregate 6 ko but bia ye de aggregate 6 ko we do hushian ma de aggregate 6 no be tware kwa
Bia o shebi.
so mi ye hushian ma na ye ntimi ade no ho mra mfaso e makuro bia yi na ene o man Ghana
Yo na.
damas
Nyami shabe. So I have with me a very young, beautiful lady here. My name is Yeboah. What's yours?
I'm Frida.
Okay, Frida. Are you from this community or you're a friend of the Atakora family?
Okay, I'm not from this community, but my mother, I think Mr. Atakora used to take care of my mother.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Then it looks like you can tell us something about the Atakora family, about this kind gesture.
I think my mother was schooled in Cape Coast, and Mr. Atakora was in Addis Ababa. So that was how come they came to meet. Yeah.
But didn't your mom give you any stories about him?
For now, no.
Okay. But what can you say about this gesture that you've done today?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's very beautiful. Because you don't get so many people to do this for the community.
True.
So I applaud them.
And what have you learned from it?
To be kind and generous so that you'll be remembered in case you are not even around.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
So I have with me here this beautiful little miss here. Her name is Banyaku Gracelyn. I hope I got the name right. Okay. So Gracelyn, are you a student of Islamic MA, Yonsu Islamic or Yonsu MA?
I'm a student of Yonsu Islamic.
Yonsu Islamic. What class are you?
I'm in class 5.
Oh, that's lovely. And you speak very fluently, whether true or English. She pretty reminds me of my childhood. Anyway, so Graceland, very soon you're going to benefit from this nice computer lab that the Atakora family has provided. What do you have to say to the Atakora family?
I say thank you and may God bless them.
And what do you have to say to your fellow students so that when they go to the lab, they can treat it very well?
They must use it attentively. They must listen to their teachers.
And then?
I think that thing will help them.
Okay. Now, what do you also have to tell your teachers? I know now, very soon, in some years, you'd be writing your basic education certificate exams, and you'd be writing ICT. So what would you tell your teachers in order for them to help you? I know you've been learning the theory. Now, God being so good, you get to benefit the practicals. What do you have to tell your teachers?
I want to tell them that they should teach the students very well.
Okay, just like they taught you and you beautifully recited the poem this morning, right? Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Okay, so I have with me here Atakora Mensa, one of the many grandchildren of the late Daniel Yeboah Atakora. Daniel, I must say I really admire what your family has done for the Yonsu community. Did you grow up here yourself?
No, I didn't grow up here.
But
I've grown up in Bogosu. I've lived most of my life in Bogosu before going to Atakora.
But your grandpa is from here?
Yes.
And then he decided to do this lovely thing for the Yonsu community. Before I ask you anything about your grandpa, what have you learned from this gesture the family has done today?
Oh, I've learned that it's good to know where you come from, know what people do for people, so that you can also. So I'm learning from it. I'm learning a lot, so that when our parents are no more, we the grandchildren can also take over and help our communities too.
That's lovely. I know you're a grandson, but I'm sure you can still give me something little. What do you think inspired this gesture? Because I know that it's not all the time that you get people from villages who make it in life come back to their villages to support the villages. Sometimes even they don't know the people there now. Most of the people they grew up with are either dead or moved to places or no more. So what do you think informed this decision your family made?
Well, I think little I can learn from what they did. I think my dad told me that their dad was a really disciplined man. He was someone who loved people. In spite of everything, even if he knew he didn't know you, he was willing to help, even from when he didn't have anything. Yes. So I think.
Yeah, because I think I saw a lot of people here who are not family members, but then they were all attesting to your grandpa's kindness, which I think is a lovely thing, and I am sure you are going to learn from.
I did learn a lot.
Right?
Yes.
What have you done so far, by the way?
I've learned.
Oh, your support here is already enough.
Yes, it's enough.
Your support here is enough. But you're hoping for you to do more.
Yes, I'm hoping to do more.
Yes, maybe better than your
parents have done.
Yeah, that's lovely. Anyway, thank you guys so much. On behalf of the community, I thank your family because I've spoken to a number of people. I've spoken to students, I've spoken to some of the residents here, and all of them are expressing their gratitude. And I am sure there's no better way to do it. All we can say is that God bless your family.
God bless you too. God bless everyone.
Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Here once again with one of the grandsons of the late Daniel Yeboah Atakora. He is Henry Kweku Yeboah Atakora. And I saw him roaming around a lot today. Looks like he's a Busiapeni of the grandchildren. Am I lying?
Yeah, small.
Yeah, the Busiapeni.
No, the
very soon. Very soon you take over from the Busiapeni.
Yes, very soon.
Anyway, Henry, so I was asking your other, I don't know if it's your cousin.
Yeah, cousin.
What informed this decision of deciding to help the community? Because most of the time we get people from communities leaving, making it in life, but they don't come back to their roots. But you guys did that, and this is like what, the second generation or the third?
Yeah.
And then you decided to come back to do this. What informed your decision? Was this something your grandpa told you before he left?
So I met my grandpa when I was, I remember him. He passed, I think, when I was 6 or 7 years old.
That's late, very late.
Yeah. So I think the impact that he has had on our parents, you know, my aunties and uncles, you know, and other people that are not even his biological kids, has really impacted them in ways that they've become really successful. Not just in like finances, but overall, you know, good health, kids, good jobs, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And then we all live in different parts of the world. So I think the kids, you know, my uncles and aunties came up with the idea to do something in his honor. You know, so I think they decided to do a computer lab dedication. And I think that was a brilliant idea.
That was a smart choice.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, so of everything, why that? Why the computer lab?
Well,
and not another classroom block?
Right. Well, because we're moving into a technological era right now. We have AI now, we have softwares, you know, have digital engineers, you know, all that kind of stuff, like Facebook Live and all that good stuff. So I think like the people, especially in the underserving communities like this, you know, Yonso, you know, I think they would need, you know, that kind of support. You know, have IT so you can know how to use a computer, basic system, how to use the mouse, Microsoft Word, typing, you know, all that good stuff. So I think that was an excellent choice that my uncles and aunties decided to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I let you go, a lot of people here who came for the gathering have spoken highly of the Atakora family. They've spoken highly of your grandfather. I know he left you when you were 6. But is there any virtue you remember that he taught you?
Oh yeah, he was a very humble man, and he's very, very, very family oriented. I remember I was sick in the hospital, Kopanoche Hospital, and he would be at the bedside. I remember he would come home and visit me, and I had this issue with my hip. I couldn't walk for some time. He would always come, you know, and sit at the bedside. We would talk and all that kind of stuff. So even though I was young, I still remember him coming, which is kind of crazy. And I remember his face. I remember the day they came to knock on the door that he had passed. I remember all that stuff. So, you know, I think that just the humility in him and just the humbleness, and even apart from my parents and my dad and his siblings, I went to a school program. I went to school at Football Educational Center, and I was mentioning his name to one of my teachers. And you know, they all knew him. He was a headmaster, you know, for them as well, and other people. So, I mean, overall, he's just been a great guy, and I think all the love that's just been shown here, like, really shows what kind of man he was.
And I'm sure you're taking his humility bits.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And to your kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm taking his humanity like very well, and then so that we can pass it on across the generations, and it also intermingle with our cousins and other family members that we don't know. Like, this is my first time being here in Yonso.
Oh,
yeah.
that's nice.
Well, not today. I've been here this week.
But it's your first time meeting the people in the community.
Meeting the people in the community, yeah. So I think it's a beautiful thing. You know, generations down the line, another 25 years, maybe the family can come, the cousins can come around, you know, and come and do something again. Maybe the secondary school, who knows, right?
Yeah.
But
we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think this is such a great thing that we're doing here. So I'm excited for it.
Thank you very much, Henry.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm here with Dr. Daniel Adom Atakora. I hope I got the name right.
You got the name right.
Okay, Dr. Daniel, I know, and a lot of people are talking about the good things you've done for the Yonso community today, the ICT lab. And the question I was wondering, what was in my mind was, why ICT lab and not maybe another classroom block or another facility? But why specifically the ICT lab?
I remember growing up and not really having access to computers and how that affected me when I went in to do some further studies. So based on that background and based on the experience and the needs of this community, we decided that IT lab would be about the best way. I mean, there are many things that they may need here, but the IT lab, in my opinion, is about the best way. After seeking and asking people in the community, we decided that. So it was based on individual need and also based on questions and answers that we received from the community here.
And I think I have seen the machines and I think you've really done a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're very, very ultra modern.
Thank you. Thank you. That sounds nice.
Yes, I've spoken with the others. So what I'll ask you is, what is your message to the teachers?
Our message to the teachers is to just take good care of the lab. Just to make sure that they teach right, make sure if there's any need, they teach right, and if there's any need, they ask, and we'll be able to support it. Preventive maintenance is one thing that we've thought about so much, and we've engaged the IT guy. His name is Kobe. I don't really know the last name, but it's Kobe, and we're going to contract him for 2 years. For the next 2 years, we're going to be paying him. We're going to be taking care of him, making sure that he maintains the land, because we don't just want it to be a white elephant.
Okay.
It needs to be used. The kids are going to have a lot of fun. When we started bringing these things in, we saw how much interested they were in, the teachers, and they were all so much involved. So basically all we're doing is that we want to get them involved, we want to get the teachers involved, do a little bit of preventive maintenance and make sure that they maintain it. We also engaged, as I said earlier, Kobe, who's a tech guy, to come in and every now and then, like once a month or when the need is, he will come in and make sure things are done. We're also thinking about some printers and maybe, thank you, thanks for that. A printer and also, what do you call it? Printer and a projector kind of, just to help them have a better chance of understanding what the world is.
So with everything you're saying, what I'm picking is that you really care about the community.
Oh yes, our father.
And the students, because most of the time when people do donations, it is done and dusted.
That's not.
But you are doing the donation, making sure it's properly taken care of.
Yeah.
Contracting someone to actually take care of it, which I think is a really lovely
Our
thing.
father loved us, and we want to do something to prove that we can't even pay him back. Just a little bit to show that we also love him back. So this is a way to express our dear love for him, and it's a way to let the community know that we're here to stay and also work for business.
It's a very, very lovely thing.
Thank you.
It's a really lovely
Thank
thing.
you.
Anyway, what's also your advice to the students now that the ICT has been added to their BEC exam, happens to be one of the core subjects now?
Well,
What is your advice to
we're
them?
hoping and praying that we'll have enough and good teachers to really teach them. I don't expect anything less than a B. I remember those days they were using stones and stuff like that as mouses. They never saw a computer. But now that they've seen it and they get close to it and they have a teacher to teach them, the sky is the limit. I know we're going to produce some IT techs, and a lot of other people are going to come in to just study and build up the future. So that's our plan. And I hope, we pray that things will go well.
I was speaking with some of the students, and I believe they are really grateful because some of them haven't really used the computer before.
I think we saw that need.
Yes, they said they were taught the theoretical aspect, so I think this is going to help them with the practical aspect.
That's fine.
So on behalf of the community, the chief and the elders,
I'm not going to allow you to take it off.
would like to say a very, very big thank you to you, to the Atakora family, and most importantly, to your dad, who's no longer with us, but his impact is still being felt in you and everyone else he's helped.
Okay.
And would like to say a very, very big thank you to the Atakora family for that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a great interview. Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Can I take it back?
Yeah. So I'm here with Mrs. Gloria Mensah Atakora, the in-law of the late Daniel Yeboah Atakora. Mommy, before we begin the conversation, let me once again say Yadasi Bibri on behalf of the Yonsu community. I'm not here, but I can feel their joy. I can feel their excitement. And speaking with them, you could tell they are really, really overjoyed. So all we have to say is Yadasi Bibri. But how does it feel being part of this?
Yeah, I'm really honored and I feel privileged to be part of this celebration. Mr. Daniel Yeboah Atakora was my headmaster back in Javin Secondary School.
Wow.
He taught me.
Wait.
Never.
But was he strict? At least he's very disciplined.
He was a disciplinarian.
Wow.
Very strict. And he treated all students as his own children. So when you fault, he will reprimand you and tell you. He almost knew all of us, our parents.
Wow.
That I'll tell your parents.
Wow.
So he took us as his own children.
So it looks like he's not just a father of his kids.
No.
He's a father of many.
No, father of many. He's a father for all.
Then it explains what you guys have done in the community
exactly.
today.
Yeah. He was selfless. He gave himself for the service of others. So what is being done here today is a true story of who he is.
Because I saw the many who came to attest to the fact that they've been helped. He's helped them a lot, helped them and helped their children.
He was selfless. He gave even the little that he had for other people to be happy. I remember when I was in school, on weekends, Sundays, he would let his wife cook and bring the food to us on campus.
Wow.
He treated us like his own children. Yeah, he knew me before I went to the school, but it didn't stop there. He continued to treat me like that, not knowing he was training me for his son.
Wow, that's nice. Anyway, so this part, I'd like you to say it in G. What's your advice to the kids?
Kids in general or his?
No, I mean the students here who are going to benefit from this.
They should take it serious. You know, they could have used the money for their own benefit, but they decided to invest in the community. So once they have done this for the community, they should also appreciate it. No more make sure say whatever has been invested in them, no value will come out of it. More fun say more better no more their gains. Because in this our world now, because of artificial intelligence, computing, saying come you may be a way even no phone computer in itself, you get it. And it's a privilege or cherish so that it will benefit them and not them alone, but generations yet or more.
Because welcome to Ghana, where your DOB first anniversary, second anniversary, 10th anniversary, and a party.
Exactly.
But then the Atakora family didn't choose to do a party. You chose to do
invest
something
in the
of
community,
this kind, which is amazing. Now, what do you also have to tell the community?
I know, said there are people here, Yamian from Warrior. In the almost community, the needs of the community, almost somewhere in their own small way. Because we'll be a work at the end of the day, we'll be a community.
And even the nation as a whole.
Exactly. So you also might pay in Monyam Shema Promina, a more mine, then for that, a war. It's baby will be a Cacrebia will be too on Famebo. Send me Atakora. So I
Mommy, better ask him today. So I have with me the second generation of the Atakora family, another Henry Atakora. And it looks like the little Henry incoming Abusia Penny was named after him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, Daddy, it looks like all the family members I speak with, I start by saying thank you. So with you too,
yes, most welcome.
I'll say thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you for what you've done for the Yonso community.
That's great.
Yonso Islamic, Yonso MA.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Most welcome.
But what is it that you learned from your father that you like to pass on to your kids, that you like them to also pass on?
My father was a very generous person. Disciplinarian. He had a human heart. He had a human touch.
Okay.
And he was always ready to help others. Even sometimes to the detriment of his own core family. Okay. You heard my brother saying that sometimes when we counted the number of people who had benefited from him directly, we counted more than 50, excluding his own children. And then we could still not finish the counting because there were a lot more people. So he was a very generous person. And he wanted to impact society by giving back whatever he had to society. He was that kind of person. So that's what all my children also learn from and every day. So I got all my four. I have 4 kids. My wife just talked, Gloria. There were 4 kids, and it's something that I want to imbibe in them. Okay. The spirit of hard work. You know what? When he was at Abisko, at his other college in Cape Coast, the students nicknamed him Ajuma Moro. Okay.
He was doing any kind of
He was doing anything. You heard saying that the honorable deputy speaker was saying that the wise was saying that when he comes to class, when you're the headmaster, when he comes to class and the teacher is not there, you can teach anything.
Okay.
Yeah, he was that kind of person. He did the same thing at this school, at the South College. He enters the class, what do you have? He says, we have English.
he takes the book and he starts teaching English. You teach, especially the classical subjects, okay? English, geography, history, and those subjects. You teach them. The Bible knowledge. You teach, yeah. So once he comes to the class and the teacher is late or the teacher is not there, you start teaching the class. And it was his nature. Very hardworking, very affable. He liked everyone. He didn't want to hurt anybody. Yeah.
Looking at the example he sets for the students and sets for the teachers who are under him, and looking at the investment you are making in the Yonsu MA and Yonsu Islamic Community School, what do you have to tell the teachers?
I think that there's a lot of potential in every child. Okay. Sometimes teachers are too quick to say these are the good kids or the good students and these are the bad ones. But I'm inclined to believe that the students are too young for us to start demarcating and saying that these are good, these are bad. Everybody has something good in him or her. So it's up to how you nurture the students and how you help them. Even with the weak ones, you can still help them in one way or the other. You don't give up on anybody. Everybody has a potential. So the teachers shouldn't be quick in judging and say these are good students, so you like it. Everybody likes good. So you tend to say, okay, these are my good students. So these are the ones I will give attention to. Then you ignore, you ignore the others. But you never know. The ones you are ignoring could
be the good ones.
Could be a good ones in the future, 10 years, 20 years, whatever the case may be. So don't give up on anybody.
Okay.
Just continue to press hard and do your job and the best you can to make sure that you bring the best out of everybody. So everybody has a good year.
Now, lastly, we know that Yonsu is a community that's not in town. It's on the outskirts.
On the outskirts,
And then we say that students from such villages or such communities mostly don't come out well.
Wow.
What is your advice to the students to make sure this notion is broken?
Hard work, okay? It's hard work. I know people from this community who have risen to much greater heights, okay? So, obviously, when you start from here, doesn't mean you are going to end here, okay? You start from here, you have the beginnings here. Yes, the beginning may be tough, difficult in this environment. But if you work hard and you are serious at your books and you apply yourself to whatever you're supposed to do as a student, there's nothing that prevents you from rising to the top. There are so many people in Ghana who came from our villages and have risen to the top. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. So it's not out of reach for them to get to the top. They just have to believe in themselves and apply themselves to whatever they have to do as students. And not be attracted to a lot of the things that are happening around you, because then you lose your opportunity. Once you start applying yourself, you study and you prove yourself, there's no reason why you shouldn't make it. Okay, so that's what I advise them. Hard work and keep pushing. Push yourself to the limits. Sometimes we don't push ourselves high enough. We get to the mediocre point and you think, oh, it's okay.
Once you're comfortable,
exactly. You want to live with it. But there's always a higher level that you can push yourself. Right.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. All right.
I'm seated with Mr. Frank Domfe, headmaster of Yonsu MA1 JHS, whose school has been honored today with the ultra-modern ICT lab. How do you feel about that, Mr. Domfe?
I'm most grateful to Mr. Daniel Yeboah Atakora's family for giving us this ultra-modern ICT lab. In fact, we are overjoyed. We feel happy.
That's nice. But previously, did you have an ICT lab?
No, this is first of its kind.
In the community or in the school?
Oh, in the community.
Wow, that's impressive. But you were teaching ICT?
We were teaching ICT. So sometimes we have to improvise. And then sometimes we have to do the drawings on the board. And then sometimes teachers have to bring their 1 or 2 laptops so that they can teach the kids.
Wow. So what were you improvising with? Were you using stones or were you using... How do they know this is how a mouse looks like? How do they know this is how a keyboard looks like?
We use cardboards. Oh. So we draw the mouse and then...
You cut them out?
Yes.
That's a lot of work. Wow. So did you send an appeal somewhere? Did you speak to the chief? Did you speak to the MCE or something about your need for a computer lab?
Oh yes, we talked to a lot of personalities that we needed this. And God willingly, Mr. Atakora's family came to our aid through the chief, Anna Oduoguai, the second.
And I hope with the availability of these ultra-modern computers, now the students are going to excel in their ICT. Now they know the theoretical aspects. So I guess they are going to focus on the practical aspect.
Yes.
And they are going to excel in it. Yes. But we know students, they can be very stubborn.
Okay.
And we know that when it comes to these computers and the technological stuff, it comes with a lot of rules. So what are you going to tell your students?
Oh, we'll tell them to be disciplined, because this being the first kind, if we don't take good care of it, it means no one will assist them when we need anything.
True.
So we'll instruct them and then we'll guide them. They will make good use of it.
But are these enough? Looking at your number in the school, are these computers enough?
Per class, they are enough. But if we want to use it to serve the whole community, then we might need extra computers so that you can see some are standing without sitting on the computer. So if we get extra ones, we'll be very glad.
So which classes learn the ICT?
For now, basically, all the classes learn ICT because of the introduction of the new curriculum. So all the classes, they have ICT classes.
So now that the ICT has been sorted, is there any other need as a school that you'd like to put out there so that if there's anyone who has the ability to offer any help, they will do that?
There are a lot of needs over here. We don't have library. Also, we don't have urinal, toilet facilities. We don't have any in this school.
So how do you manage?
When someone complains that he needs to use him or herself, you have to give the permission for him or her to go out. So mostly they go to their various homes or the community facilities.
So most importantly, I think you need the urinary facility and then the library, which I think would also help the kids. Okay. Now, what would you say to the Atakora family?
Oh, words can even not express what we feel. We are very glad, and then we are most grateful to them. Always say that Jehovah bless them, and then whatever they have spent on this library or computer lab, God should replace them. We are most grateful to them. We say thank you to them.
Thank you to the Atakora family from the headmaster, Mr. Domfe. But Mr. Domfe, what about your tutors who were teaching with cardboards and drawings on the boards? Now they have something to make the work easier. People, humans in general, sometimes when we have certain things at our disposal, we become a little lazy or reluctant. So what do you have to tell them?
Oh, what I will tell them is that now that they have the facilities, they should make good use of it. And they help the learners so that they can also come out with the typing skills and then other skills in the ICT, so that when they go out there, we can say that we can boldly say we have ICT lab in the school.
Okay. I was speaking with one of the attackers, and he mentioned that they chose to provide the ICT lab because the world is moving at a very fast pace where technology is taking over. And they believe that if the kids are impacted, it's going to go a long way to help them. And I know now ICT has been added to the BEC. It's a core now, I learned. Elective, okay. And this community didn't have an ICT lab. Now they've provided. He was telling me that he's looking at, if not A's, hopefully B's. Do you think that is possible?
It's possible. For us, it's ones, not A's.
Oh, that's okay, yes. So one. And then the twos and the threes. So he's looking at twos.
Yes. So it's possible we can get the ones and the twos. Because when we were not having the ICT lab, even last year, some of the students of the community had one in ICT and then others has two. So it's possible.
Even without the computers.
So this will complement.
Looks like you guys are really doing a good job here. I just hope that your pleas for other facilities to make schooling and teaching here easier is heard. by the MC, by your chief, and other people who are from the community and can't help. Anyway, do you have any last words you'd like to say?
Oh, I would just say that we are most grateful to the late Mr. Daniel Yeboah Atakora's family for giving us this ultra-modern facility. And then we promise them that we'll make good use of it. We say thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much to the Atakora family. I'm sure his thank yous is on behalf of the students and the tutors and everyone here in the school. Nana, Memo Akwaba.
Yeah, bro.
Open in case you jam in chair, your friend Nana Ojo Boahino, the second. Nana, ene day, Atakora Busia for Nana no woman, no, a ship on any munyam. Assembly now be catch on.
Yo, there was a so about Mr. Akwanya way. Yeah, papa, and the man in the Nana Bijan crying. Papa be an who here, Kuma. You so Sansa only be come by a headmaster. The headmaster Jibuno. Why you move on a human? Or share be a man of us for. Tina, we in fear you know me. None the man who said the own papa, my woman. Or Joe Mochinapa. She said, no more bus will be in a year. No quire. Just that, not be man, the man. So when you are serving panel, and you'll be a bit my sir. Sabe, who are no. Then so, could I Kaiser on papa? I will be a mawon. No one fear you know. No more babation and munyam. No more ye be a say, it sounds upon ye cratching inti. The man who say, and ne, I bear for quiet for Susia dear. A boa ma and quadra, this one cosunti. Now, the computers, I bet ye. Suku, yon sumai suku, for no, they are dear. I need so and William is room. Tim Danquaranas and almost.
And I wish I had a for my ye. And you'll be an it to me, yes, sir. Into Croma or Wahai, I be a 2 pine, a big back call, if you so that's what, but on my ye, I'll come to me aboa. I send an hour catcher.
Sabe Pepe. Sabe Nina, aye. In Chirachira, I say a literature, will be more beach. Say na ye nim kra enen kodai atwa sano atoho nti mesere say yo so fo ma wa akwantu ya krachi fo wom wom aye omunyuma kese ewom enso ase krono kan krono enhye da na wom akoma so papa ti say na me mai ene me nuanu mu atwa sa sai atoho ade me kan say yo so fo ma sabe nyame ato wom nsem na wom asetena ekoyie omo atu kwan omo ati yonso ba omo keka omo ho na ommeboa na yonso empeja
ana afenso school fu a ye dey computers ya bro me akoto be na wode mo
school fu ne de me kan se omo nyide omo ensua ngoma enne nkwada no aba no obo omo chem so a embo yesi child right enti ye nkura se ya no so ka child right nsem no de nka bi di hell Yesu so ye ma me no kwafu mu a ye no omo anopa hima na udi na chi no makofa duane abafi ene nso enkoda ma me fo yi kwa omo tifie omo nya hwe nti aba enkoda no asetra no omo ade sua no omo ma me enya control kese but se sie ya Atakora da Roma watete ne mba ama enkoda na ye hwesode ama sukufu yi de me kan se omo hwe enkoda no a omo de computers ebe che omo no omo hwe omo se suti omo yeye ene di omo abedru sabri nti omo so enye sutie na omo mu omo maame no papa no penimu bi omo mu no na fi omo nyire omo ensua de na se de nkoda na ye no omo so yire omo ho a omo ebe san nkoda no kura
na ye da wano ase nyame sha obibi
mi da se ohima mi da se.
Welcome to Ghana, where when people die and they are celebrated a year or two, a decade after, it's always a party. But here, somewhere in the Mampo municipality, in the Yonsu community, the late Daniel Yeboah Atakora, former headmaster of Jabe and Dompoase Secondary Schools, has been celebrated in a very beautiful, amazing way by his family by donating an ultra-modern computer lab to the Yonsu MA and Yonsu Islamic School. And today, on behalf of the community, on behalf of the students, on behalf of the teachers who tutor here, we say a very, very, very big thank you to the Atakora family, and we hope that the fellow Ghanaians will do the same. God bless you, Atakora family, and we hope that this generosity would not end with only a computer lab, but there would be more to come. My name is Ajafra Nwafrimpo.